Let's see, I haven't done a flat spin with it yet. Let's try that. I'm gonna go up for some altitude, kick it, aileron, put the sticks together, and it does a pretty good one. Let's go on and pull out of that. Pilots, welcome back to Motion RC. Today is a fun video for you. We're back out here with the Black Horse Sbach. If you haven't checked it out, we have a video on assembling parts of this model. We have a first flight of this model, and now we're gonna do some grass flying with this model and just have a good time with it today. Set up on 10S, two 6,000 milliamp 5S batteries up there in the nose. We'll show you that after this flight, but for now, let's go have an enjoyable flight, huh? Taking off into the wind. A little bit of up elevator, keep it from tipping over. Get it flying, let off the elevator, and here we go. Tons of horsepower on this airplane, tons. Such a good flying airplane. Now there is no gyro in the model today. You could always add one. I feel with these 3D planes, it's really not a huge necessity. Get a little bit of up trim. Here we go. Hurrah! Such a nice, gentle flyer too. Or it can be nuts. Love it. Does a beautiful knife edge into a hammerhead. Ooh, that wind gust right now. We do have a hurricane coming in, so the gusts right now are anywhere from 10 to 20 miles an hour. So it's making for some exciting flying right now. To put it as nice as possible. But we wanted to get out and do some flying this week before the weather turns bad. Figured why not enjoy this airplane? And I'm just throwing it around for fun. You know, I'm not by any means the world's greatest 3D pilot, but I can toss one around and have a great time with it. And the Sbach is really good for that. I'm gonna go to my low rate elevator. Look at the power. Tons of horsepower. Tons and tons of horsepower. Knife edges are just so nice with this airplane. And it's large enough that you can fly it off of a grass field without issues. Now I do have it a little more tail heavy right now, which helps with it hovering, as you can see right there. I'm gonna do it up high because I am not a good 3D pilot. And that way I don't have to worry about tearing it up. But I do have that CG a little further aft so it will stand up on the tail nicely. And just have a good time with it, like I said. Half of the fun of these things is getting your feet wet in 3D and learning some of that acro. You know, work on your slow rolls. Even with the crazy wind. I'll bring it right by in front of us, Lori. Here it comes, nice and low. Oh yeah. Tree. Coming into the wind this time. That was a downwind pass. I've got it in low rate elevator right now. Just having that fun, like I said. Take it up, high rate elevator. Let's sling her. Pop it up. What a cool plane. They said that tail heaviness will make it do a little bit of a snap if you really get to yanking on the elevator in any kind of high speed. So just be gentle on that elevator if you have it in a real high deflection, or it will do a snap. Just be ready for that, but otherwise it's very docile, as you can see. If you turn that elevator down, it just becomes a very nice pattern plane. But once again, if you want it, it's got enough to throw the airplane around. Let's see, I haven't done a flat spin with it yet. Let's try that. I'm gonna go up for some altitude, kick it, aileron, put the sticks together, and it does a pretty good one. Let's go on and pull out of that. Nice, nice little flat spin there. Inverted flat spin, I should say. And once again, to do that, I'm gonna try and talk y'all through it. So let's get some altitude. I wish I had a stick cam on right now, but I don't. So we got altitude. What we're gonna do, we're gonna point the nose up, let it fall over. We're gonna begin aileron, then push the sticks down into the middle. Ah, it popped out of it on me. There's our timer, so we're gonna go into a lower rate elevator. I don't recommend landing with a ton of elevator on this airplane. It just gets so touchy, you might overcorrect it. I've been setting my timer to 6 minutes of useful throttle on this. Feels really good there. I'll go to a lower rate aileron also. Just tame it down for your landings. There we go, and now we're gonna aim it for out in the grass. Big enough airplane, it handles the grass field landings no issue. Look at that. Like a champ. Flip into my high rate elevator to keep that tail pinned. And taxi it back. All right, let's give you a battery report real quick. Kind of show you how I have mine CG'd and set up. And meet back with you in a second. All right, pilots, so that was a beautiful flight of our Sbach from here at Black Horse at motionrc.com. Super awesome flying airplane. The wind is kind of crazy right now. We have a hurricane coming in, and I wanted the perfect airplane to go out and fly and enjoy it, get a little bit of flying in before this storm hits. Well, what we've done here, I'm gonna go over some of my setups now that I've got quite a few flights on the Sbach. I have 100% throw on my elevator setup, but I have 2 cuts in it. So this is for really aggressive, hard flying, but if you're landing or just flying around nicely, it's kind of hard with this because you get a lot of twitchiness to the airplane at that 100% throw. So I also have a 75% cut and then a 50% cut. Now normally for landing and takeoff, I go up in 50%. And if I'm just gonna have a nice docile flight, I just leave it in this. But if you ever wanna really throw it around, just reach up there and flip that switch. I have 100% throw on my rudder with 25% expo on that. And then for my ailerons, I have 100% throw, then 75 and 65%. And I have 20% expo all around on my ailerons. I really like that. Ailerons is something that I like a lot of throw on pretty much all the time, no matter what it is. So I usually leave this in 100%, but I know a lot of customers are gonna probably wanna tame that down a little bit. Now let's get inside the model. If you haven't already checked it out, we have done a full Black Horse tip on this one as far as assembly goes, so check that out too. On the inside of the model, something I did is I went on ahead and ordered one of our Benchcraft on-off switches. It's really convenient to be able to just reach in there and turn the model off without having to unplug the battery between flights. So I went on and got one of those. I also am running in one of our Futaba R7-10-8 SB fast test receivers. And I have my antennas placed one up here into a zip-tied little container, and I have one taped right to the side of the airplane. What you'll find with these carbon airplanes is you want to get your antennas as far away from carbon as you can. So I like to mount one to the monocoque and one out here in open air if possible. And I have had no issues with that. As far as your life pack, if you're going to run a life pack, I found that it was really good right here on this little shelf. It's like it's designed for it almost. And then you just take and put some shelf liner on there, and you can attach that right there on top. And then as far as your flight packs go, let me stand the airplane up so you can see in there a little easier. As far as the flight packs go, for really throwing it around, doing more aggressive maneuvers, I really like those flight packs really far back in the battery bay, as you see how I've got mine. Now, if you're going to fly more IMAX style, or you know, you want a really more locked in feeling airplane that's not going to be quite as twitchy, push them forward. I wouldn't say all the way forward. I think you're going to be too nose heavy there, but you could definitely rearrange your straps. You can see I have another set of shelf liner down there. That way I can move them forward if I want a little more stable flying conditions. I really like that. Now let's get into the battery report of this. Pop these two straps off. All right, so there's our Admiral 6000 5S packs. I am running 10S total on here with our little Benchcraft adapter. You can also order those here at Motion RC. We are at 389 a cell, or 58%, which is a very respectable time. Now, I've been setting my timer to 6 minutes of useful throttle. But you could easily probably push that out to 7 if you're not going to fly it super aggressively. But as it sets on the recommended power system, like I said, I really like mine at 6 minutes. Well guys, if you've decided to get a Black Horse Sbach, make sure when you get it put together, you share it over on the Motion RC customer Facebook community. We always love seeing you guys with your models over on there. And as always, whether it's land, sea, or air, Motion RC has everything you want. See you in the next video, guys. Bye.